predicting every single U.S. Senate election. Let's get started with the first one. We're going to start with the likely red seats and go to the state of South Carolina. The state virtually always votes red, and I don't think anything different will happen this November. That's going to be a pretty good locked up seat for the Republican Party in South Carolina. Heading south now, we get to the state of Florida. Florida, I think, is going to be an interesting state to keep an eye on, especially during these midterms this November. The state in recent history has drifted further and further to the right. Even pretty reliably Democratic areas have even switched and voted for Republicans, such as Miami-Dade County. But it will be interesting to see if the demographic trends that helped Trump and Republicans in general in 2024 among the Hispanic population, if that continues into 2026. I think there's a real possibility that the state of Florida could end up in the lean red column instead of likely red in the event that those trends swing back towards the Democratic Party. We'll have to see what happens, but for now, I think the most likely scenario is a likely red call in the state of Florida. Heading west now, we get to the state of Kansas. The state virtually always votes red as well. Pretty reliably Republican state. The state has elected a Democratic governor in the recent history, so it has been known to potentially be slightly competitive. There are some gubernatorial races that are generally more competitive. Even Kentucky, which as you can see there in safe red, has a Democratic governor. So gubernatorial elections can be a bit of an oddball. But as far as Kansas goes, going to put that state into the likely red column. Now we're going to move on to the likely blue seats. For that, we really just have the one, that being the state of Minnesota. Minnesota has had a very, very long history of voting blue. Don't think anything different will change this November. That's going to be one seat in the likely column for the Democratic Party, bringing Democrats to 44 seats to Republicans 46. Now moving on to the lean red seats. For that, I'm on the fence about if Nebraska will be in the lean red or tilt red column. For now, I'm going to go lean red. I do think Dan Osborne, his chances in the betting markets have usually hovered around 25 to 30%, so he is certainly the underdog. I think that he probably has the best chance out of any independent in the independent races, which looks like are a couple in the West primarily. But I think that Dan Osborne's best chance, he's independent's best chance at winning a seat, but I don't think it will occur this November. The fact that he's going from a safe red seat to a lean red is a very impressive feat. And Democrats, even though Dan Osborne isn't a Democrat, he's largely the de facto Democratic candidate, should be impressed by this outcome, even if it didn't go the way the Democrats were hoping. That's going to be the call there in the state of Nebraska. And I think that may just be the end of the lean seats for the Republican Party. Now going to the lean blue. Starting out with Georgia. Georgia, Jon Ossoff, according to the betting markets, last I checked in my recent video, he had over a 90% chance of winning his election in Georgia. That is certainly a telling sign that the state will almost certainly go blue this November for the Senate midterms. And I think that I largely agree with that. I'm not sure if the margin is quite that extensive, but for now we're going to go with a call there in Georgia. Georgia as well as North Carolina, I'm predicting will go blue. North Carolina is going to be the first flip of the prediction of a seat going from red to blue. Democrats need to win at least 4 seats, flip 4 seats, and they are hoping to do so in many of the states I've yet to call, but the first one will be in the state of North Carolina. Heading up now to the state of New Hampshire. New Hampshire, I'm on the fence about whether or not it would be in the lean or likely blue column, but I think it's generally a reliably blue. I would probably actually put it ahead of Georgia and North Carolina in terms of likelihood of going blue. Just didn't notice it, but that's going to be the call there in the state of New Hampshire. And then we get to the state of Maine. This one is going to be the second flip of the prediction, going from red to blue. This is Susan Collins' seat. She's been in the Senate for quite a while, and I think that her chances, she has a potential chance to win. I think that the Democrats will probably be able to flip this one. We see fewer and fewer states with senators from opposing political parties. Generally, the partisan nature of a state that it goes on the presidential level tends to be reflected in the Senate and gubernatorial candidates, and I think that Maine's general Democratic tilt or lean really in a year that is shaping up to be really good for the Democratic Party will result in Susan Collins losing her seat and the Democrat flipping that one in the state of Maine. Democrats really need to flip the state of Maine if they want to have any hope of winning control of the Senate. So that's going to be a much needed seat for the Democratic Party. Now, the rest of these, I think, will probably be in the tilt column for one party or the other. We're going to start with a tilt red seat. For that, we have the state of Iowa. I've seen comments from you guys saying that Iowa may be more competitive than I am predicting. It's still in the tilt column, so it certainly could go either way. Generally, Iowa votes red. Somewhat similarly to Florida, the state used to be a swing state. That would go for both parties. Now it pretty reliably votes red. So I think that that will be the reflection of the vote there in the state of Iowa going red. Then we're going to head up to the state of Michigan, a state I've had in the red column and blue column, gone back and forth. But for now, I think just with the Democratic tilt really favoring Democrats at the moment, I think they will win. I do think it will be a narrower victory than it would have been if the more moderate Democrat from the Michigan Democratic primary had won the primary instead of the progressive challenger. But I think the progressive challenger will still be able to narrowly win, but I do think it'll be closer than it would have been with a moderate Democrat. I think then that has the potential to be to Democrats' misfortune if due to the current makeup, due to the current nominee for the Democratic Party in the Senate race in Michigan. Heading over now to the state of Alaska. I'm going to put this into the Democratic Party's column as well. The state generally votes red, so it is an impressive feat, but I think Maya Peltola, strong nominee, she is, I think, would do quite well, and I think that she will win her election bid. And then we get to the remaining two states. So Democrats would need to win one of the two to secure a Senate majority by a narrowest possible margin. I am on the fence about Texas. Texas, according to the betting markets, last I checked at least, it was virtually 50-50. I think Tallarico had a small edge. It was like 51-49. I may be proven wrong, but I just don't think that Democrats are going to be able to win in Texas this year around. I do think it'll be close. In 2018, Beto O'Rourke lost by less than 3 points in the state of Texas, and I would argue James Tallarico is a slightly better candidate than Beto O'Rourke in terms of electability. So I do think it will be narrower than 2018, but I think with the state's general partisan lean towards the Republican Party, that it will end up in the red column. Finally, we have the state of Ohio, going to end with that one in the Democratic Party's column. Sherrod Brown, former U.S. Senator from the state, I think will win his election race this November. That's going to be the end of the prediction. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.